Welcome back to Totally Unbiased. I'm Nick, and this is your first episode of Who Wins, Who Loses. On this show with me today is my usual partners, Andrew and Aidan. How are we doing today, guys?
What's going on, you guys?
What's going on, Nick?
Yo, so real quick, I just want to shout out our social medias. So on TikTok and Instagram, you can follow us at Totally Unbiased, and on Twitter, you can follow us at YT_unbiased.
All right, let's get down to business, guys, and pick some games. So for Sunday at 1 o'clock on Fox, we have a great slate of games ahead. So first, we have the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Atlanta Falcons. Andrew, what do you think?
All right, for me, easily, I'm going Falcons. I think Calvin Ridley's going to pop off as soon as the season starts. And I think the same thing for Kyle Pitts. He is a rookie, but I really think he's going to have a big role there, and I really think it's just going to be a no-brainer. I don't think Jalen Hurts and the Eagles are going to have their system down pat as early as they want to.
I don't like anything about the Philadelphia Eagles at all. There's clearly nothing good about that team. What do you have? Like an aging, overpaid offensive and defensive line. You have a quarterback who he graded as the 38th best quarterback last year. 38. And somehow people think this guy's going to pick it up? No, I'm out on that.
Yeah, I agree with both of you guys. You know, I think the weapons on that Falcons offense, I think they're just going to overwhelm the Eagles. And I agree on Hurts too. I think, there's a high ceiling for him, but he really hasn't done too much to prove that he's, that guy yet in Philly. So, I got to go with the Falcons. And for our next game, we have the Vikings traveling down to Cincinnati to fight against the Bengals. Andrew, what do you think about this one?
This is another no-brainer to me. I definitely think this one goes to the Vikings. Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook, Kirk Cousins. That offense is going to do great. I do think Cincinnati's going to be able to score, but not enough to keep up with that offense with a bad offensive line.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. I think a part of the things we have to recognize with this game, there's a lot of weapons on Minnesota's side, but Minnesota is missing key guys. They are missing Anthony Barr and offensive lineman and first-round pick, Christian Darrisaw. So, we'll see. I think the Bengals – I don't think the Bengals are that good. The offensive line is not good. The secondary is not good. The defensive line is not good. This game, if the Bengals have a shot, it's got to be a high-scoring game. Otherwise, there is no chance they win this game, realistically, unless Kirk Cousins has some sort of crazy implosion.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think, I think the Bengals will keep it closer than a lot of people think. I think a lot of people expect this to be a wipeout by the Vikings, but I think they'll keep it close. I think T. Higgins will play a great game, but, I don't think it'll be enough to suppress Dalvin Cook and Jefferson. And I think there are some very big question marks on their offensive line. So that's something you got to worry about. And for our next game, we have the Lions welcoming the Niners into Ford Field in Detroit. Andrew, what do you think?
For the Lions, I definitely think they have a chance to win, but what they got to do is they got to stop that San Francisco run game. I definitely think week one, Raheem Mostert could have a big week against that very weak run defense that the Lions have. And who knows how Jared's going to perform in a totally new offense now. A lot of people think that he kind of had the career he's been having due to his coach and the team, the coaching staff around him. So I definitely think this is a 50-50 matchup, but I'm going to give it to Detroit if they can stop that run game.
A lot of people are putting Detroit at 0-16, 0-17, 17 games, 0-17. But a part of me wants to believe that Detroit's got something to prove. They got some guys who got a lot to prove. And, a big part of Detroit's game this year, Dan Campbell, I love his head coaching style so far. He hasn't really coached a game, but I like the way he speaks. I like the way he fires up his guys. But important thing to remember with Detroit is, I think if they can run the ball, they can win games. Now, they have Jamal Williams and they have DeAndre Swift. The problem with the Lions is their defense. Now, they have a horrendous block shed run defense. It's really bad. So if the 49ers start running, it's not going to turn out well. However, there is a shot that the Lions keep this close if they run the ball as well. I'm actually expecting this game to be pretty low scoring. I'm thinking maybe a 20-16, 2017, 2014 kind of game.
Yeah, I think the Lions are just going to be overwhelmed from the start. And like you guys said, I think that the Niners are just going to start with the run very early on. and I think they're going to have success with it. And for that reason, they're going to stick with it. And I don't trust the Lions to be able to stop that 49ers pass rush. So, I think most of this game takes place on the ground rather than in the air. And I think the 49ers come out with the win. I don't think the Lions can suppress that rushing game. Finally, we have the Seattle Seahawks visiting the Indianapolis Colts. I think that the Colts are personally going to come out with the win. I think that Wentz is going to get settled in very early. I think that he's very familiar with Frank Reich's system, which he's going to be entering again this year. And I think that offensive line is going to provide him with plenty of time to, carry out that offense. So I think that the Colts come out with the win.
I have to disagree here. I think part of the issue with the Seahawks every year is that at the end of the year, they don't play well. But at the beginning of the year, at first half, Russell Wilson, going to be honest, he's one of the best. One of the best first half performances we've seen. And last year was another indication where Russell Wilson was on an MVP potential track, fell for the end of the year. I'm expecting them to start off again hot. They have a lot of depth at running back. They got two great receivers. I really think the Seahawks are going to surprise some people in this one. I don't think their defense is that good, although I'm not sure the Colts will be able to hang with the Seahawks if they start throwing deep balls and putting up points.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely going to have to agree with Nick. In the beginning of the season, Russell Wilson is always the type of guy to put up an MVP season. I do have his stats fantasy-wise last year. This man had 4 to 5 touchdowns in his first 3 games. This man had the amount of touchdowns that someone has in a rookie quarterback has in a season. He had that in the first 3 weeks of football, and they got guys like DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. They got a lot of guys in the backfield who could definitely run the ball well. I definitely think that the Seahawks have a step above on the Colts. All right, and so for the CBS 1 p.m. game, we have the Steelers going against the Buffalo Bills. Aidan, what do you think about that?
So I think that the Bills are going to come out with the win. I think it's going to be a low-scoring affair because it's two great defenses clashing against one another. But I think that the Bills' offense is going to outpace that Steelers' offense. So I think that the Bills are going to come out with a very low-scoring win.
Buffalo was fantastic last year. They really were. Every facet of the ball. Josh Allen, believe it or not, was 6-0 against top 10 defenses, including in the playoffs. 6-0. I don't think defense really matters to Josh Allen. This guy is a superstar. I think the Bills are going to win, and I think they're going to outscore the Steelers by at least double-digit points.
I definitely am going to agree more with Aidan. I definitely think there's going to be a battle of the defenses. I do think the Bills still do come out on top, but it's definitely going to be a defensive matchup. I don't think you're going to see anybody have crazy numbers this week. It's definitely going to be a 24-17, 24-21 kind of matchup, nothing within the 30-point range. It's definitely going to be a battle of the turnovers. Whoever gets that one turnover, that defense, they're going to be the one to take that dub. And then next we have the Jets going down to play a familiar face at quarterback. They got the Carolina Panthers. Aidan, what's your thoughts on that?
Okay, so I think that the Panthers are going to win. I think that Sam Darnold is going to get comfortable in that system very early, and I think that the Jets are going to struggle to stop Christian McCaffrey. I think he's going to be running all over them all day. So, Panthers all the way.
I struggle to understand what the Jets did this offseason on defense. I struggle because I understand Carl Lawson. Carl Lawson's down, so there goes your pass rush. Quinn Williams hasn't played all spring. That's your inside run defense. I don't see a way the Jets can stop the Panthers on offense. Even if Darnold is mediocre, they're not going to stop. But my thing is, I think the Panthers are going to score like 35 points and win like 35-14, and it's not an indication that the Panthers defense is good.
Yeah, and this isn't going to be me necessarily counting out the Jets. I definitely think that with a new quarterback under center, they can compete, but it's more about me thinking that the Panthers are going to be where it's at. And the Jets didn't believe in Sam Darnold. They gave him away. They traded him. So I believe that their defense is going to be focused more on Christian McCaffrey, and that might give Sam Darnold a chance a little early in this game to try and get that ball moving down the field through the air, kind of show he could do it, and then that defense is going to have to kind of switch their potential, but I definitely think it's a no-brainer with the Panthers. And then definitely the game of the week, we got the Houston Texans hosting their division foe, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Aidan, your thoughts?
I think the Jaguars are going to trample the Texans. I think this is a very good game for Trevor Lawrence to start his NFL career with. I think he's going to have, plenty of time to settle in on offense with that O-line, providing great protection. And I think James Robinson's going to ball out as well. And I think Houston's just going to be having struggles on both sides of the ball for the entire game. So, I'm riding with Jacksonville.
I think Lawrence does a good job in this game. Tyrod Taylor is everyone says Teddy Bridgewater's a game manager. You can't win with him. You buy Tyrod Taylor at Walmart because he's the Walmart version of Teddy Bridgewater. He's not good. He's just not. There's nothing against Tyrod Taylor. What he's known most for is backing up Joe Flacco and jump-starting Justin Herbert and Baker Mayfield's careers. I understand they have an issue with Watson. I get it. They're not going to win more than 2 games this year. There's no way. Unless Watson plays. Even if Watson plays, they may not win 5. That's how bad this roster is. They are clearly trying to flush out any old people out of this roster, get new ones in. They're not trying to win. I think Lawrence has a solid game. I think Hyde and I think James Robinson will both have at least 70 yards on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think this game is going to go to the Jags. Neither team is projected to be a playoff contender, really, but I definitely do think that Jacksonville does have certain key pieces that are a lot better than Houston. Really has nothing. They had Deshaun Watson, and Deshaun Watson right now is a big question mark as far as what's happening with him. So that team really has no great upside in players to look forward to. The Jags got Trevor Lawrence, Laviska Shenault, James Robinson, DJ Chark. They got guys that can move the ball. So I definitely think they come out with a win. And then the game for this week that we're all looking forward to is the Arizona Cardinals traveling across the country to battle the Tennessee Titans. Aidan, who do you got for this one?
All right, so I have to go with the Tennessee Titans in this one. I think it's going to be very close, but I don't know if Arizona is going to be able to suppress Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown, and Julio all at the same time. I think it's going to be really close because Arizona has a great team, but I think the Tennessee scrapes away with a win.
It's kind of hard for me to pick this game, I'm going to be honest with you, because I look at one side, right? Kyler Murray, A.J. Green, D-Hop. Chase Edmonds is not like this wall running back, but he is in the passing game more than he is in the rushing game. And, they upgrade the offensive line. Ronnie Hudson. They have the defensive line. Chandler Jones, J.J. Watt. They have guys. Their secondary is atrocious. Besides Budda Baker, they have nobody out there that I would be like, oh, yeah, watch out for him. No, nobody. There's nobody out there. So it kind of leads me to wonder, are they going to be able to stop anybody in the secondary? I'm not sure. And if you're getting a big test week 1. A.J. Brown, Julio Jones. I'm going to pick the Cardinals, but I wouldn't be so shocked if Tennessee blows them out of the water a little bit. Not because Tennessee is that much better of a team. I don't know that the Cardinals can keep up with these skill position players.
I mean, I'm definitely going to consider this game a shootout. I definitely think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I do think Tennessee wins at the end of it, though. But they have A.J. Brown and Julio on the other side of the ball. I believe Julio early this year is going to be – he's going to be Julio. I definitely believe – and don't forget Derrick Henry. I almost just forgot about Derrick Henry. That man is going to run all over, and I'm going to put that at a high-scoring game. I'm going to put that in the 30s and 40s, but Tennessee is going to come away with a win. And then finally, the last 1 o'clock game, we got the Chargers visiting the Washington football team. And for this game, I'm going to go with the Chargers. I mean, Justin Herbert had a great performance last year. He was really showing himself that he can keep this starting role. He definitely has the potential to be a great quarterback down the stretch. And I really don't know what the Washington football team's got. They definitely have pieces on that team, but I don't think it's enough to compete with the Chargers.
I actually think that, yes, the Chargers have a very good offense, but I think both of these teams also have very good defenses, and I think this is actually going to be a defensive game. I think that Washington's going to be able to limit this offense. Washington has one of the best D-lines in the league, and I think they're probably going to overwhelm Herbert, and that's going to result in a lower scoring affair. But I do ultimately think that Justin Herbert comes out with the win. I think that this offense ultimately is going to come together under pressure and they're going to get the win.
I happen to think that Washington is the most overrated team in all of football. I don't understand why they are such a praised team. Okay, I'm going to give you guys some statistics. Let me know what you think. So last year, Washington played 4 top 10 offenses. They allowed 30 points to all 4 of them. Okay? They also allowed 30 points to the Detroit Lions. Now, with Stafford, I understand. They had a good year, their defense. They did. They played 5 backup quarterbacks. 5. And that's one of them was Ben DiNucci, who could not throw a football more than 6 yards. They played Andy Dalton. They played Ben DiNucci. The Jalen Hurts, I consider the backup quarterback. I don't understand why they're hyped up to be this great team. I really don't understand it. You have a team that you said you were a quarterback away last year when Alex Smith, everything happened with Alex Smith and he came back. It was great. You said you were a quarterback away. Your option and your choice was a 38-year-old journeyman quarterback. I mean, come on. We know what Ryan Fitzpatrick is. Ryan Fitzpatrick, as always, is the same guy who gets you 3 great starts, 4 bad ones. He hits the bench, comes back later, he's good, and then he hits the bench again. That's not consistency. That's what they were looking for. They didn't get it. I don't understand what they were doing this offseason, not addressing the quarterback position. That's just my opinion. Everybody's entitled to theirs. It's a totally unbiased opinion, but I'm sorry. I just don't think Washington did anything at all. If you're talking about the NFC East, I think there's 2 teams better than Washington. I think the Cowboys are better than Washington, even though their defense is horrendous. They could score with anybody. I think the Giants are better than Washington because their defense was better against top 10 teams, even though it wasn't great early in the year. That's really Washington is my number 1 team to fade this season. I don't think they're that good. They had an easy schedule last year. They played backup quarterbacks all season. That was it. 5 wins. 5-0 against backup quarterbacks. 5-0. Listen, you can only play who's on your schedule, but you can't let that temper the expectations of the next year. But now we're going to get into the evening games. All right? Get into the evening games. This is probably the game of the week for a lot of people. This is the Cleveland Browns at the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's see. We'll go to Andrew. Andrew, what do you think?
All right. I don't care about Baker Mayfield. I don't care about OBJ. I don't care about Jarvis Landry. I don't care about Nick Chubb. I don't care about Myles Garrett. I don't care about anybody on the Chiefs. Whatever they do, they are not going to compete with the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes has a chip on his shoulder now. He's lost in the Super Bowl. He knows that feeling. And I definitely think that whole team they're going to come out booming. They're going to come out booming like always, but just with a little extra chip on their shoulder, and they're not going to want to take any crap from anybody. They got this game on lock.
Well, I think you got to give some credit to the Browns. I think they did a lot to improve their team in the offseason. They drafted tremendously. And even at the end of last season, they really started to bring it together and get hot towards the end there. But I have to agree with you. I don't think that they have enough to beat the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, like that, and Travis Kelce. There's too many players to name on that team that are very hard to contain. So I got to roll with the Chiefs on this one.
See, I disagree. I think that the Browns can hang with the Chiefs. I think they have the talent to do so. They got a lot better on defense. Greedy Williams is healthy. Denzel Ward is healthy. Del Pitt's back. John Johnson signed in. But here's the thing. It's not about what the Browns did in the offseason, because I already think Clowney stinks. And he's questionable. So is Odell. It's not about what the Browns did. It's about what the Chiefs did in the preseason. Andy Reid starts off hot every year because he plays his players in the preseason more than anybody else. That's what he did again this year. So I think the Chiefs are going to win week 1 because they're going to start off hot, simply put. Next, we got Miami at the New England Patriots. Two Alabama quarterbacks face off for the first time since 1984.
I think that the Patriots are actually going to come out with the win here. I know the popular pick is probably the Dolphins, but I think that their defense is too inconsistent for this Patriots offense. I think Mac Jones is going to settle in early, and I think he's going to get comfortable, and he's going to dismantle them. And I think there's a little too much optimism around Tua, to be honest. I think there's this assumption around Tua that because he was picked early, he's going to be this great quarterback. But, I disagree. I think that Mac Jones is probably going to have a better career, and I think that the Patriots come out to win in this game, and he outduels Tua.
I definitely think that Mac Jones is going to outduel Tua, but then I also think you have to give a lot of credit to the Patriots defense. I think they're the ones that are really going to give Mac Jones the opportunity to have the ball multiple times. They're going to get some turnovers on that Dolphins offense. And I still think regardless, it'll be low scoring, but with just a little bit of an extra step towards the Patriots, I'm going to call it like a 24-10 game because I think Mac Jones could definitely do it, but that defense is really going to seal it for him.
An entire offseason with that offense, Tua can finally understand it. He's in it. I think this is a low-scoring game. I have Dolphins winning like 16-13. I think it's going to be really low-scoring. It's not that the quarterbacks are going to struggle. It's more the defenses are going to thrive, and that's what both these defenses do. They're both Bill Belichick defenses. Brian Flores was a disciple of Bill Belichick, okay? And, Tua's a really interesting part about this game. Mac Jones is too. It's all about defense. And if the Patriots can play up to the way they did 2 years ago before all the opt-outs, they're going to win this game. Next, we got this game was moved out of New Orleans, so it's in Jacksonville, but it's Green Bay at New Orleans at a neutral site in Jacksonville.
For this game, I definitely think you might see something again because the reason that it's not in New Orleans anymore is because of a recent hurricane they had, and I definitely think that it's got some not mystery. I don't even know what term to use, but definitely New Orleans is feeling some type of way. They want to do something for their city, kind of like they did after Katrina. They had a big chip on their shoulder after that storm. Their whole community was affected, and they really wanted to ball out for their city. But also, they don't have Drew Brees. I mean, they do have Jameis Winston, so I do think they definitely are going to still be a good team. They're going to be in wild card talks, but Green Bay, you got Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, and Aaron Jones on that offense. If that Saints defense could keep them to a slow start, I definitely think New Orleans could do something here. I'm going to go with New Orleans.
I have to say the Packers are going to win this game. I think that the Saints can keep it close if they get that offense moving early. And you know what? I think Jameis Winston has the potential to do it. I think he's got a great arm, and it's just about keeping the turnovers down. But if they can keep things efficient and fast on offense, they can stay in this game. But ultimately, I think the Packers win no matter what.
I'm about to give you guys a bold take. You ready for a little bold? Here's a little bold. Packers get beat down in this game. Like, their defense gets absolutely shredded. I think Jameis Winston has the biggest chip on his shoulder. And, not for nothing, I know they're without this guy or without that guy. That's not always a bad thing. A lot of times you can spread the ball around when you're without your number one big target receiver who needs the ball, right? I kind of think the Packers are going to lose this game. Aaron Rodgers, in his lifetime, is a below 500 starter in Florida, and that's why they chose this spot. The Packers, they're from up north. They've had, kind of hot weather. The Saints and practicing outside. I think the Saints are conditioned to do this. If they want to win this game, it's all on the shoulders of Jameis Winston. It's all on number 2. He has the ability to do this. I think he does. And my prediction really is Jameis Winston will throw for 300-plus yards, 2+ touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. That is the way for them to win this game. Now a game that's pretty interesting to all of us. I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos visiting the New York Football Giants. Andrew, let's have you give us a totally unbiased take.
Yeah, sure. Definitely going to be totally unbiased with this one. I got to be honest, I'm probably going to give this game to the Broncos. I think that offense with Teddy Bridgewater, they got Cortland Sutton, they got Jerry Jeudy. I definitely think they're going to do something. I do think that the Giants, down the stretch, that defense is going to progress greatly again. I don't think they're going to get off to a hot start. I do believe the Giants are going to be a top 5 to 7 defense around there for the season. I just don't think they get off to a hot start. I do think the offense does get rolling. Daniel Jones comes out with a hot start, but I'm going to give it to the Denver Broncos in like a 24-21 matchup.
Here's what I think is going to happen. I think that the Giants defense is going to hold this Broncos offense to around 17 to 21 points this game. And I think that in order for the Giants to have any sort of chance of winning, their O-line just needs to keep it together. And they need to, just be able to get the ball moving and get some passes going, because the main thing that stalled their offense last year was sacks and short passes. And I think that if they can just keep that O-line secure and they can throw some deeper balls this game, keep the air yards going, I think that they can win this game. So I'm going to give it to the Giants.
Giants got a lot of problems. They do. They have a lot of problems. And it all stems from guy with orange hair calling the plays. It's all Jason Garrett. This game is strictly on Jason Garrett. I think these defenses are going to do what they do. Nate Solder is getting to start at right tackle over Matt Pert, so that tells you the Giants, who talked up Matt Pert all offseason, what are we getting? Nothing. Pretty much looks like we're getting nothing. He's not even going to start. So I think the Giants, first of all, if you like scoring, if you enjoyed that Monday or that Thursday night game, a lot of touchdowns, field goals, actions, big plays, right? Don't watch this game. You're not going to get any of that. You're going to get a 16-13 game. You're going to get something slow and something boring. The Giants are already preparing their fans that they're not going to see an exciting game. So that doesn't bode well for me. I don't love it. I do think the Broncos are bad. Like every year, we get this whole spiel. The Broncos defense are going to be good. The defense is always pretty good. They're all right. But not for nothing, they still don't know how to draft a quarterback. Drew Lock is terrible. He's a bust. 2 years. I mean, he did not have more passing yards than Dak Prescott, who only played 5 games. 5 games in 3 quarters until week 14 last year. 14. It took him 14 games to get more yards than Dak Prescott, who only played 5. Clearly, there's like a misconnection in their offense where they don't know how to pick quarterbacks. Now, do I think Bridgewater will be better than Locke? Absolutely. The Broncos are another one of the most overrated teams this season because every year we hear about, here they go again. No, the Broncos are the Broncos. They do the same thing every year. Bad quarterback play, okay, mid-range defense, and they're 5-11. 5-11. They're 5-11 last year for a reason. And it's not just because of Drew Lock. No, it's mostly the reason. But it's not just because of Drew Lock. The rest of the team needs to play well, and they didn't do it last year. So this is the final game. We got the Chicago Bears visiting the Los Angeles Rams on Sunday Night Football. I could not be less excited for a game. I'm sorry. I can't be less excited. Andy Dalton and the Bears, who, by the way, they basically said, listen, pandemic, we have no money. We're not spending any money on the secondary. So the Bears basically punted. Kyle Fuller is one of the best corners in the league. Let him walk. They let him walk. They didn't try to restructure him. They let him walk. They almost let Akeem Hicks go too. The Bears seem like they put all their eggs into Nagy's basket for some unknown reason after Nagy has been horrendous the last few years. I don't get it. The only good part about their offense, bright part, Allen Robinson is being covered by Jalen Ramsey, which is an issue. And you have Aaron Donald stuffing up the middle of the field for David Montgomery. I don't see a way the Bears win this game. I really don't. There's no way they win this game. If they do, I will be so impressed with Nagy and everything. There's no way they win this game. Absolutely not.
I totally agree with you. I think that Stafford and that Rams offense are just going to get going nice and early. And like you said, I think that Rams defense is just going to violate the Bears offense. I don't think they're even close to ready for that sort of defense this early in the season. So like I said, I think Stafford's going to get going early. I think that offense, he probably throws for like three touchdowns, maybe even more. And I think the Rams win by 20 plus points, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, Nick definitely covered it pretty well. I definitely don't think the Bears are going to get anything rolling on offense with that Rams defense. I do think the Rams, though, on offense, I think with Matt Stafford under center, that team's going to explode. I could see it being a complete and total blowout, something like 35-7. I could see it being a total crapshoot. After the first quarter, you're not even going to watch. We're going to watch. after the first quarter, you're not even going to want to watch this game because the Rams will probably be up like 21 points in the first quarter. I really don't, like Nick said, I don't see a way for the Bears to do it. If they do, I'll also be very impressed. I give it less than a 5% chance that they do it, but I'm a lock in on the Rams. And that's it for who wins, who loses this week. Thank you for tuning in to Totally Unbiased. Make sure you tune in on Monday for Totally Overreacting, where we just kind of go over what all these games actually turned out to be. We might be right, we might be wrong. We'll give you our take after the fact. Make sure, again, you guys follow us on social media at Totally Unbiased on TikTok and Instagram, and on Twitter at YT_unbiased. And this has been Totally Unbiased.
Thank you guys for watching, and we will be picking that Monday Night Football game at the end of the Totally Overreacting episode. Don't worry, Ravens fans. We'll get to it.